Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about some really interesting lenses for the A7 series. Now generally I'll use the 28 to 70, or I used to use the 16 to 35 f4, which was such a beautiful and fantastic lens. Super expensive. This one's expensive as well. So as I transitioned to some of the Blackmagic cameras, I had to let go of some of my gear. So I needed to replace it because I realized I missed it so much. So there are two lenses I want to talk about that are amazing for the A7. I really wanted some prime lenses. I didn't want to zoom in and out. I didn't want to have that adjustment. So certain looks I want to get out of using a gimbal. Now, when I use this gimbal, I basically, have a cage on there. And that's kind of how I have it with my A7R3, or I'll have it with my A7III as well. This camera does the trick. Now, I don't want to say for some reason that the A7s are my B cameras, because they're not. Depending on the project that I need them for, they're my A camera. For me, there is no A-B camera. It's whatever camera is going to do the job. So that's really what it comes down to. So being that I wanted to use it on a gimbal, I really wanted to have a smaller, lighter lens and also be able to take it around with me and have kind of an on-the-go camera. So I found this lens, which is an incredibly beautiful lens. It's the 24 f2.8, and this is a Rokinon lens. Now, it's a full frame lens, and it's pretty sharp. It's really tiny, comes with the little hood that goes on the lens, but look how small that is. I mean, it's great, and it weighs like nothing. Still really crisp. It does have autofocus. No stabilization on this lens, but since the camera itself has stabilizations, I'm not really that worried about it. So the 24 gives me a nice wide enough kind of range. As you can see, I'm showing some footage at a shot with it. Again, mainly using it for my gimbal shots, but I've used it for photography as well, and I think it does a great job. And the fact that it's so small, it's almost like a little bit bigger than a pancake lens, is really nice. It's lightweight, it's cheap, it does the job. Some ways I miss my 16 to 35, but having this lens has actually been a joy. So I wanted to talk about the other lens that I picked up, and let me tell you the reasons why I picked this one up. This is the Samyang AF35 millimeter 2.8. Again, autofocus on here, full frame. It's a really lightweight little lens here. What I liked about the 35 is I got a little bit more closer to what I needed to do without being super wide. No distortions on the corners at all. And again, light lens, super sharp, especially with continuous focus, using it on a gimbal. It's been great. The good thing about it as well is having it on the gimbal, switching between these two lenses is a non-issue. So basically, when I mount these on, they're similar in weight, so I don't have to rebalance my camera, which is really nice. So that's a plus to it. The other thing is, again, it's the price, and it does exactly what I need it to. So as sad as I was to get rid of the 16 to 35, which was a fantastic lens, it was also a very expensive lens. This is almost a quarter of a price of that lens and does the same job. Again, did I need to do the 35? No, but I really like it on a stabilizer. It has a very distinctive look. I like it. It's a bit more, again, hate to use this term, cinematic or whatever it is. It just enables me to kind of like just set up my shots the way that I need to. So I'll show you those examples and you'll see what I mean between the differences between the two. It's not a huge difference, but it does make a difference. Now back to, just in general, using these tools, whether it's these lenses, if you're using a Blackmagic, if you're using a Sony camera, it doesn't really matter. It's the right tool for the right job. That's it. Plain and simple. There is no better camera, worse camera. There's, again, Blackmagic is a great camera. The image quality, bar none, is so beautiful and is kind of on top of their game. For the amount of money you're paying for this camera, it's an amazing camera. But is it always the best camera for me? No, it's not, because there's sometimes when I need to set up The gimbal here, it takes a lot longer to do that. There's certain handheld shots that I want to get where image stabilization or IBIS in camera makes such a huge difference. So I haven't let them go, nor do I think I ever will. I think having, you know, two types of cameras, one to do one thing, one to do another, and because I shoot photos as well, the Blackmagic isn't going to do the job for me. Now I'm shooting on the Blackmagic 4K right now. Again, having the A7R3 and the A7 III, these cameras have been phenomenal. Even if they bumped these up and made it, you know, 4K 60, whatever the situation may be, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be a perfect camera. You're always going to have limitations with certain cameras. I think having, you know, tools to be able to do the job is really where it's at. So, you know, investment wise, I always like to invest in lenses. Yes, I'd love to have the top of the line lenses, but I can't afford them. So I always look for these really kind of like diamond in the rough situations where I think these two lenses are fantastic. So if you were thinking about getting a wide angle lens or thinking about getting maybe a nice walk around lens or using this to specifically use on a gimbal, I think these lenses do the trick and they're cheap enough. So I recommend them. I'll show you some samples of them again, get some more details on those lenses, but I think these are fantastic choices for the A7 cameras. Again, holding on to my A7s, love these cameras. And yeah, in conclusion, that's about it. It's just basically trying to solve for a problem. I didn't have a wide angle lens. The only native lenses I own for the Sonys is going to be that 50mm lens that Sony makes full frame, and then again the 28-70. These two lenses have been great little companions to those lenses, and the quality is great as well. Again, if you're looking for some wide angle lens and you're looking for some primes, these might be a good solution for you. They're, you know, they are working perfectly for the full frame A7 series cameras, which is really nice. Do have autofocus, and again, full frame lenses at 2.8. This one is also a 2.8. I wish it was like a 1.8, but hey, you get what you pay for, and I think you're still getting a huge deal for these lenses. So thanks again for watching, guys. Please follow, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button. We have more videos coming up. All right, thanks so much. I will see you next time.